Well, hello, everybody. It's the Pearl of Wisdom show, and you can't see me yet. There we go. There we go. Now we're here. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Lauren, John Weichel. Just as we come on, we get the big, what was that trade? To Winnipeg. I don't know what Winnipeg is doing, to tell you the honest truth. They took so long to pick their defensemen, and these are the defensemen they're picking. Should be pretty interesting there. At least they did get some defensemen. Got to say that. I can't say the defensemen they got are my favorites or anything. Can you guys hear me all right? I don't know. Who's Joey Jordison? So Bruins agree to terms with Mike Riley. What were those terms? $3 million average, 3-year, $3 million AAV. John from Off the Wall called that one, or was it Peyton? Peyton called that. That's a nice pickup. I think they need one more defenseman, but the Sabres signed Drake Caggiula. Caggiula's just happy to get a contract from anybody, I think. Nate Schmidt. Did you hear about this, Nate Schmidt? While it was believed that Nate Schmidt wasn't keen on being traded to the Jets, it appears he has a change of heart. As TSN's Darren Drager reports that Schmidt has agreed to be dealt to Winnipeg. In exchange, the Canucks only get a third-round pick. Schmidt was acquired from Vegas last fall. Now, that was weird that Winnipeg would take a player that wasn't keen on going to Winnipeg. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, well, he could retire. Marc-Andre Fleury could retire, Sean Patton. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I think he could retire. He's like, you think about it, I think he's only got 1 year left on that contract now. It's hard to give up $7 million, but man, he's made a ton of money already. He doesn't want to move his family to Chicago. So he would have to play in Chicago while his family lived in Vegas. Unless they worked out a way that, maybe they rent in Chicago or something. It's really crappy for him. I wouldn't go that. I mean, Chicago, I thought Chicago didn't stand a chance to make the playoffs last year, and they almost did it. So the Bowmans probably know something. I don't know. They got some young guys I'm not aware of. Like, I didn't see Lankin. Lankinen came from nowhere last year. Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. The reputation that Vegas is building right now is not very good. Not very good. They're not going to, I don't think anybody's going to be too happy with that in the room there. I don't know. I guess we'll get probably won't hear much comments there, but it certainly doesn't look good to treat a guy like that. But on the same note, it's weird. When they got Lehner, it really confused things. And they may never have had a chance to get Lehner again. It's hard. But good general managers and most teams usually find ways to not do this to legends like this. And now he may retire, right? So I wonder what that Wonder if Chicago ever thought about that, or maybe they already knew that if they made the trade that he would retire. I'm hearing Carolina is in talks with D'Angelo right now. After Carolina made his statement and all that, did you guys read that statement that Carolina did, that D'Angelo said? You know, he basically came out and said, anybody who knows me knows I'm not racist. It wasn't. So I don't know what the whole situation was, but it sounds like now it got blown out of proportion, but I don't know. Like, you don't know. You're just listening to bits and pieces of information, and oh, I don't know. I don't think he would do that. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Fleury does end up going to Chicago, and then what happens with that. I guess Chicago just loses out, but I know he was not very happy with that trade for sure. With Fleury there, you never know. Like, Chicago could make the playoffs. You look at their lineup, and they may not be done, but they're right to the cap now. They have less cap room than Tampa Bay right now. So they got no movement at all. I thought maybe they were going to trade him again, retain him, retain $3 million and trade him to Pittsburgh for a pick or something. I thought maybe that might happen. But their first line is DeBrincat. I got to get you guys up on my phone. Come on. Their first line is DeBrincat, Taves, and Kane. I don't know if that's what the actual line will be, but Kubalik, Doc, and Alexander Nylander, who didn't play at all last year. They could put Kurashev up there, but... And then Hagel, Godet, and Carpenter. Strome, Borgstrom. They protected Borgstrom. You got to say they're a pretty big team. Kubalik is 6'2", Doc is 6'4", Nylander 6'1", Strome and Borgstrom 6'3". But the defense still, to me, is not that great. I got to see what Seth Jones does in Chicago, because he's got a long way to go as far as I'm concerned. He needs to really turn things around. But DeHaan, Jones, Riley, Stillman, Murphy, Zadorov, Mitchell. Mitchell's going to be a lot better next year. Connor Murphy's meh. Calvin DeHaan is meh. Like, what makes them think that this team is going to make the playoffs next year? Why go get Fleury at all? The only thing I can think of is just to help that Lankinen kid for a year. But very odd. Very odd. I can only think that I would say that they're going to, add more to this lineup, but they have no cap room at all anymore. None. They don't have any cap room. So how are they going to add? Like, I remember last year at this time sitting here saying the same stuff. No, definitely not going to the Islanders, Eric Douglas. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I remember the same time last year talking about Chicago, saying that they could be the bottom of the league. Like, I thought that they could be bare bottom of the league. And they almost made the playoffs. Was that a fluke? I don't know. Like, Fleury is sitting there looking at that lineup going, am I going to win a cup next year with this team? Like, no. So I gotta go away from my family for a whole year. Now, don't get me wrong, he's got enough money where he can bring his family in when he's home and stuff like that, but it's still going to be tough. Like, he sounds like he's really upset, and that's Brendan Saad to the Leafs, maybe. McDermott was traded for a fourth. They got a fourth rounder out of Colorado for McDermott, a seventh defenseman. However, they were pretty wimpy in the playoffs last year. They do need to get some size in that lineup, but hey, CL! How you doing, buddy? We're just talking about the Fleury trade. Or, yeah. Who are they going to get? They don't have enough assets to get him, though. I don't think it's Eichel. They don't have enough assets to get him. Unless they trade Barzal. Besides that, I don't see how they have enough assets to get Eichel there. And even whatever they traded, there wouldn't be anything left in their lineup. Well, that would be a big mistake, Eichel. Martin Jones? Martin Jones is horrible. Yeah, I'm sure they let him know beforehand, but yeah, like, you know full well that they convinced him to go there from Pittsburgh. And I don't know what they sold him, but if they were lying or looked like, if they didn't follow through on their promise to a guy like Fleury, that hurts. But it doesn't seem to be affecting Martinez because apparently he's going to sign for $5 million for 3 years there. I don't want why would I want Varlamov if I was Buffalo, Eric? You're going to have to give me Sorokin. Wallstrom's good, but he's not fantastic. And when you consider what else is going to be out there for trade, there's other packages that'll be much better than that. A couple firsts from the Islanders, what is that, like 25, 26, 25 to 30? Somewhere between there. Late first round picks, where you got Minnesota could offer Rossi, Greenway, 2 firsts, Addison. There's just so many packages out there that'll be better. Now, if I could see the Islanders maybe being in it with a deal like you just said, if nobody else is going to touch him until they know for sure that he's well from his injury, and there's so much pressure on them trading him that they end up having to scramble and get rid of him. That's about the only way the Islanders will be in it. I don't think Seattle will do that. I think Seattle's there to build a dynasty. I really do. Although, apparently, Schwartz is going to sign with them. Apparently, Schwartz is going to sign with them right out of free agency. So, I would have to think the Landeskog's going back to Colorado. What did I hear today? I heard, apparently, I don't have any facts on this, Colorado has offered Landeskog $7 million for 7 years. Yeah, I guess you could get Peter Mrazek. That doesn't help you too much, but it's a goaltender. I don't think Peter Mrazek would put up the numbers he did in Carolina and Toronto. I'm pretty positive of that. What's going on, Lauren, with Bernier? Like, why don't they have this guy signed up by now? This is ridiculous. If they let Bernier go, I'll be really choked. I don't know who they're going to sign, but like if they don't sign Bernier, who are they going to sign? Carolina. They got to sign Bernier. They got him, man. I'm getting a little tired of them penny pinching on goaltenders. It's not a wise move. We've seen it with Philadelphia. They almost won a cup, but they had no goaltender. Like, I don't understand. I know they got a good system there, but you still got to have a goaltender. Peter Mrazek's not that great. No. A Bogosian's, yeah, I wouldn't want Bogosian. Have you watched him play the last year? Like, even when he was in Tampa Bay, he doesn't do much. He's not all that physical. He doesn't move the puck out very well. He doesn't play the power play very well. He's kind of a penalty killer. I wouldn't sign him up. Why do you think the Islanders freed up all that cap space? I would to get Palmieri back. They're going to sign Palmieri. And then they're going to have to get another defenseman to replace Leddy. That's about all they got left, right? I think they're going to bring Palmieri back. And they're going to, I keep on hearing Suter in the Island. But I guess he's looking for $4 million for 4 years as a 36-year-old. Cizikas apparently wants $5 million a year. As much as they love him in Long Island, maybe that's why they love Cizikas so much they're going to actually give him $5 million. Maybe that's why they freed up the cap space. But I say they still need another shooter there, and I don't think Palmieri is really the answer, but they seem to think so. So I don't know. We'll see if they actually do it. There's no way Cizikas is signing the Leafs. I don't know who's going to sign. Who's going to sign Cizikas for $5 million? Pius Suter can go just about anywhere. I didn't think Pius Suter was really all that great. He got out-muscled a lot. He wouldn't help you too much in the playoffs. He did well in the regular season for Chicago, but in the long run, he's replaceable. I could see Suter going, Pius Suter or something like that to the Islanders, or let me look it up here. Pius Suter could go to a lot of places. If he wants to just make some money, Arizona will probably pay him not bad. The Edmonton Oilers, Vegas Golden Knights keep on saying they want another center. I don't know how much he wants, though. It might be just because he wants too much money. But they didn't even give him a qualifying offer. That's the thing. They didn't even give him a qualifying offer. How much was Pius Suter making? Pius Suter. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, New Jersey might spend $5 million for him. I know who will spend $5 million for Casey Cizikas. The Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames love players like that. They love to overplay third-line centers like that. Yeah, Calgary Flames. What did Pius Suter make last year? Piasuter. He only made... Okay, he reached his performance. He made 1,775. So they would have had to qualify him at $2 million. So anybody that wants to take him, I could see him going to Piasuter going to Nashville. Although they don't need any more small players there, but they seem to like to take them anyways. For $2 million, you can go to a lot of places. Arizona, Calgary, Anaheim, Minnesota might try him out. Like, there's lots. Seattle Kraken, lots of players. I think there'll be a lineup of people if he doesn't overprice himself out of the market. I think Cody Ceci stays in Pittsburgh. That's what I think. Yeah, I don't see it happening, but it would be cool, Sean, for sure. No doubt about it. I think New Jersey's in on Dougie Hamilton. I think Montreal is in. I think New Jersey and Montreal are leading the way for Dougie Hamilton right now. I thought LA was in, but it kind of fell off. I haven't heard anything about it. And then at any time, a team could swoop in and nab him. But right now, I think the leading candidates would be Montreal and New Jersey. And I don't think he wants to go to a market like Montreal. So I'd say the leading guy is New Jersey. I heard they offered him $9 million a year, and if they did, they'll probably get him because I don't think it's either that or he goes back to Carolina. I don't know what Carolina is offering, but I don't think it's $9 million a year. So he's going to have to make a decision about money and if he likes it in Carolina and all that kind of stuff like that. I would have thought Columbus might have been in on that after losing Jones, but I haven't heard anything about. I haven't heard them in the market for them. However, it seems like Kekalainen does that a lot. Like, he's kind of one of those guys that stays under the radar, and next thing you know, he's there doing something. So, like, look at what he did with Bean. I never heard about Columbus being in there on Bean, and then all of a sudden they got Bean. So, what do you guys think of the Yandel signing by Philadelphia? I actually like that signing at $900,000, even if he's just a power play specialist. Nick Ritchie to the Leafs, Andrew Cogliano to the Leafs. Cogliano could go to a lot of places, yeah. I think he's fallen off pretty good. I don't think you want Cogliano on your team anymore. He's lost a step, and his speed was his main game. Yeah, I thought it was all right. I was surprised he only got $900,000, but I think it was a pretty good deal. The only thing I don't like that they did, we'll have to see how Atkinson does, because Atkinson has fallen off a lot the last 2 years. He doesn't seem to be able to handle an 82-game schedule very well. He's only 5'8". The best thing that they could do with Atkinson is bring down his minutes 5-on-5 and play him on the power play. I would play him with Hayes and try to keep his minutes in the 12 to 12 minute mark, preferably, which would mean he'd predominantly play 5-on-5. I don't know how they're going to balance that, but he seems to get worn down by the end of the season. I think York will earn a spot, no problems. York will beat Yandel out. Yandel's going to sit a lot. York will beat Yandel out, no problems. I'll bet you on that. Max Lejoe is better, you think, from Ottawa? He's struggled to make the lineup. Max Lejoe, did you guys get him from Ottawa and Carolina? Yeah, I think Bean might be a 3-4, average 3-4, something like that. It looks like he's progressing into like Hannafin or something like that. Lejoe is with the Canes now? He was with Ottawa, right? Make sure to tap that like button, guys. He was with Ottawa. Yeah, I mean, he struggled mightily in Ottawa. Ottawa's a pretty good judge of talent. Was he a late bloomer? Let me check him out. Did he even play last year? Lejoe. He would have been in the minors. Maxime Lejoe. He's only 23. He was a 5th rounder. Oh, he got 21 points in 27 games with the Wolves. So that was a big increase. He got more points in 27 games than he did in Belleville the year before in 48 games. So I always wondered, he looked pretty good in Ottawa, and then he never, I don't know, they kind of gave up on him. I know his skating isn't the greatest, but if he's improved his skating, he had lots of skill. He has a good first pass out of the zone and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, he's second. So that's good. You got a good penalty killer there, and he's good on the power play. It's just trying to balance out his minutes 5-on-5. You don't want to overplay him, but I still like the trade. You save $2 million. We needed a shooter. Shooters are hard to find. Atkinson's got a killer shot, and Voracek is a passer. It just doesn't. We had too many passers, so I do like the deal. I do like the trade. I'm just not sure about the Risto trade. That was a lot to give up, but we'll see how he turns out. He's got all the tools, Ristolainen. What else happened today? There's a lot of cool stuff happened today. Montreal Canadiens signed Joel Armia to a very rich contract. Average annual value of 4 years, $3.4 million for Armia. Now, I do like Armia. I still think there should be more offense there. But that does seem a little rich, considering what he has done. Michael Bunting would be a great pickup for the Leafs. Ovi screwed the Caps? I don't know. I think Ovi saved that franchise almost. So it's hard to say that he screwed the Caps. I think he's going to be good till he's 40, dude. We'll see. I really think. I wouldn't say that about most players. Like, it's pretty insane for a player to be good till he's 40. But I think he will be. And if not, he'll probably retire and leave money on the table and go back to Russia anyways. So, Ovi will probably kill it. He's just, I haven't seen a physical specimen like that too often in the league. Like, he looks still great for 35. Like, great. He's still a physical, he doesn't look like he slowed down hardly at all. Do I think he beat Gretzky? Yeah, I think he could. Nothing would. I don't underestimate guys like Ovechkin. I don't underestimate them. I think it's more to do with, will Backstrom hold up enough for him to get the 40 than whether he will hold up, honestly. Or they can find a center that can pass to him. That's going to be the biggest thing for me. More getting the center to pass it to him. Nothing would surprise me from him, man. Best shot possibly that ever played the game. I would say that Ovechkin, by the end of his career, will be considered the best shooter that ever played the game. Even if he comes close to Gretzky, he played in an era that was way more difficult to score than Gretzky. I think he's the best shooter that ever played the game. And you could even make an argument the best power forward between him and Lindros that ever played the game. Montreal Canadiens signed Chris Weidman. Okay. Might get a cup of coffee or two in the league again, possibly. I wanted to look up, what does Winnipeg's roster look like now that they made those two deals? They got Dylan, who I think is about an average defenseman, honestly, but better than what they had. They still don't have a great defense, but they might have a good enough one for their offense. Winnipeg. And they do have DeMello still. DeMello goes right down the depth chart, I would think. Oh, they don't have, I guess that deal hasn't been confirmed yet. To acquire Nate Schmidt. It hasn't been confirmed yet. A third-round pick. So, is he a righty? I would have to think he's a righty then. So Nate Schmidt will play with Morrissey, or Dylan, probably. Then it'll be Pionk and Morrissey. And DeMello and Stanley. I don't know what happened to Nate Schmidt. I really liked most of his time in Vegas there. If he can recreate that again, it's not a bad deal. But man, 5.8, that's a lot of money. He's a power forward, man. Are you kidding me? He would bowl through guys. He's a power forward for sure. He would absolutely crush guys at times, like no doubt about it. Big, strong. Yeah. They really don't like Svechnikov. I don't know what it is, attitude or something. And if Stevie doesn't like your attitude, you're gone. He didn't get much of a chance. Seems kind of lazy. But he did play not too bad last year. They gave him a good shot last year, and then they didn't qualify him. He'll probably land on his feet somewhere. Again, all of these guys are like somebody I could see Arizona picking up. Arizona's just going to pick guys like Svechnikov up, Tatar, guys like that, just to say they have players so they can be the last place team in the league. The Flames could take Svech, yeah. It doesn't seem, I think it's more likely that the Flames pay Cizikas $5 million a year than they take Svechnikov with Sutter there. Sutter will lose his mind if that kid's lazy at all. I would just love it if the Edmonton Oilers got Darcy Kemper. That would be freaking awesome. That would be amazing if the Edmonton Oilers got Darcy. Oh, you said Canes. Sorry, I saw Flames. I don't know if they could, where they'd want to play him. Kemper to Philly would be okay for 1 year. What are we going to sign Carter Hart for? That'll be the question there. I don't think he's going to get much more than $2.5 million or something. Now imagine you bring Kemper in for Carter Hart. Now what's that going to do for Carter Hart's confidence? Because Kemper can definitely beat him out of his job. Kemper would almost assuredly beat him out of his job. Unless he just absolutely rocks it. Now, if I'm Kemper, I don't know if that's the place I want to go. That'd be awkward. I have heard Getzlaf to the Edmonton Oilers, yeah. I would be okay with that, depending on what the price is. I don't know what Getzlaf is wanting to get for money, but he's not much more than... Like, he didn't have a great year last year. He's declining. I wouldn't want to give him more than $2 million a year. But if he wants to come and play and have a chance to win a cup, that would be... Edmonton would be a good spot. They need a third liner. He probably wants to stay in the West, I guess, so he's closer to his family. Although Edmonton is still pretty far away. But I don't see anybody outside of Edmonton giving him a contract. Perry signed with Tampa? Did he actually sign now? Where did you see that, Weichel? Buffalo gave Drake Caggiula a $750,000 contract. He's like going, whoo, 1 more year in the NHL. He keeps on getting $1 million, $750,000. He's barely an NHL player. He's probably after this year. I think Caggiula goes to Europe. That's what you thought, yeah. I would hope the Oilers got to do something with frickin' Koskinen first. They didn't buy him out. So I guess, are they going to retain? They're actually going to roll with Koskinen and Smith? Like, no! No! Maybe they trade Koskinen for Kemper. Because Arizona doesn't care if they win next year anyways. Who cares? Play Koskinen as your number 1, whatever. That's going to be like one of the worst teams of all time. It's going to be up there with the Detroit Red Wings of a couple of years ago. Like, the only thing saving Arizona is the division they're in. They might be able to pot a couple extra if they keep Kemper. But if they go get Koskinen or something like that, if they trade Koskinen for Kemper, that will be a disaster. I can't. That's not even an NHL caliber team. They'll sign a couple more plugs and Yeah, I would not want to touch Holtby, man. Holtby's did some stuff on the ice, calling out his teammates. One time he was yelling at his bench and stuff because the defenseman didn't do something, and he got in crap for that. I saw him in Washington either. And he can't stop pucks anymore either. He got away with it in Washington when he was stopping pucks, but I do not want Holtby. I do not want Holtby. God, I hope not. I'd rather have Halak than Holtby. I've heard that that's the pretty likely scenario is they get Halak. So I did a video on a whole bunch of free agents. I wanted to do more. I missed a whole bunch of them, but I guess, Derek Forbert. I'm hearing Derek Forbert to the Boston Bruins. The worst goaltender to win a cup? Oh, what was that Chicago goaltender? He went to San Jose. He was pretty bad. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't. I hope they don't do that. Yeah, they got it. They gave him a pretty penny there. $5.8 million. Buchnevich got $5.8 million for 6 years, was it? Or was it 4 years? 4 years, I think it was. Hard to argue with the numbers. He was almost a point a game guy there in New York Rangers for the last 2 years. The question will be, can he do it for St. Louis? 4 years, yeah. Not bad. I just don't know. I don't know where St. Louis is going, to tell you the honest truth. I know when I watch Buchnevich, you don't notice him on the ice all that much. And then at the end of the game, though, he's got 2 points. And you were like, he got 2 points? So he's kind of one of those elusive guys that hangs out in the corners. He's not physical at all. But he puts up points on the board. So apparently Hoffman is looking for $5 million for 4 years. $5 million for 4 years. Who the heck is going to pay Hoffman $5 million a year for 4 years after the season he had with St. Louis? And the problems he had in Ottawa. He's quite obviously a power play specialist. He doesn't play defense at all. Like, I don't see, again, that would be another one to get to the cap floor in Arizona. Maybe. Go rot in Arizona for a couple of years if you just want to get money. Because I don't think anybody with is a cup contender is going to give Hoffman that kind of money. Any GM worth a grain of salt isn't going to touch Hoffman for that $5 million for the next 4 years. No freaking way. Cannot see it. Are you guys excited for tomorrow, though, man? I'm going to be on tomorrow from 9 a.m. Mountain, so that's 11 Eastern till 2 Mountain. That's 4 tomorrow. And that'll be my show too, by the way. So, and then Friday, I'm gonna do another marathon Friday. And I'm gonna be off early Friday. I'll be off at 2 o'clock. But I'm gonna start at like 10 o'clock in the morning and do like a 3 or 4 hour show on Friday. So that'll be fun during the day. Thursday, I'll be nights again. doing the night shift. Peter Mrazek wants $5 million. Where are you getting this from, John? Are you just pulling this out of your butt? Peter Mrazek will not get $5 million from anyone. Whoever gives Peter Mrazek, who even needs a goaltender right now? Who needs a number one goaltender? Who needs a number one goaltender? I don't even think anybody needs a number one goaltender. There's no end. If you did need a number one goaltender and you gave Mrazek $5 million, you're going to be very disappointed. Buffalo might be stupid enough to do that. That would be the only team I know that needs a number one goaltender. So, not Mrazek for $5 million. No way. They got Bernier. Sign Bernier. I'd rather sign Bernier for $5 million than Mrazek. Buffalo Sabres, I think, is going to sign Allmark. I think they're going to get him signed. It probably would be the safest place for him to be a number one for a couple years. They'll probably pay him more than anybody else will, unless somebody really has a line on Allmark as a number one. And I like Allmark. The only reason why I would see him going somewhere else, Runfin, thanks for coming in too, by the way. Hope you're all subbed up and hitting the like button and all that kind of stuff like that, so we get a few more people in here. It's fun having lots of people in here. Yeah, Rasmus Dahlin, that's going to be interesting. If they got to trade him off, that would suck. That would really, really suck. I don't know. I haven't heard boo of that. What's going on with Rasmus Dahlin? I like Allmark too. Just how much do you give him, though? How much do you give him? I think Carolina would have been in on Allmark if he was going in like $4 million or something. I don't know. I'd like to know what they're offering Bernier, because they were offering. I wonder if they're offering Bernier the same thing that they were offering to Delkovich at $3.5 million. But which would be stupid, because they were paying Reimer and Mrazek 4.5. No, Allmark's going to get more than $2 million. Buffalo Sabres were a totally different team when Allmark was playing. Allmark is a very, very good goaltender. He's a late bloomer, and he's still getting better. I think Buffalo will sign him. And Lauren, I think that's a sweet spot there, about 4.5 for a couple of years, 3 years or something like that. They might be smart to sign him right up, $5 million for 5 or something like that, if they're really confident in him. I kind of am. I think Allmark is only going to get better. So, yeah, he has got hurt quite a bit. But what else is Buffalo going to do, honestly? I got to know the nature of his injuries. If, talk to doctors, find out if he's going to be coming back, like if he's going to be able to come back from his injuries, or if they're going to be long lasting or what. I mean, you can not like 5 years all you want, but if somebody is offering him 5 years, guess what? Kyle Okposo getting traded. I don't know how he'd possibly get traded. They would have to give up a pick to get rid of him. I think they'll just keep him. Yeah, he's a great goaltender. He had some injury issues, but most goaltenders do. So I don't know. Maybe. Wow. Yeah, well, what else? What else are they going to do? I guess they don't really need a goaltender now, so they can just grab anybody. You know, if Carolina's, sorry to say it, but dumb enough not to sign Bernier up, go get Bernier for a couple of years, I guess, or whatever. I don't know, but what other goaltender are they going to get out there? Maybe Grubauer, but you're going to pay a lot more for Grubauer, and Grubauer's been injured quite a bit. Grubauer just won a Vezina. He's probably going to pull $6 million for 6. Peter Mrazek for 2 sounds about right. Yeah, like if you took Allmark and played him in behind Carolina's defense last year, he would have been had some pretty damn good numbers. I think he'd have better numbers than Mrazek. He would have had really good numbers. And Mrazek had some pretty good numbers, I know, last year. And that's kind of why Carolina doesn't spend the money on goaltending. They think their system is good enough that they don't need a top-notch goaltender. We'll see if that ever works out for them, but I don't like it. Like Bernier, I think he'd be happy with $4 million for 3 years. That's all you got to give him. Like, what's wrong with that? The guy crushed it the last 2-3 years in Detroit. I swear to God, in behind Carolina's defense, he could be a Vezina candidate. He was that good in Detroit. If they don't sign him, they totally drop the ball. Totally drop the ball, I think. Probably would have had better numbers than Nedeljkovic had. He's really good. He's just got trapped in Buffalo the last couple of years, so. But he's really good. I felt bad for I felt bad for everybody in Buffalo. I felt bad for Reinhart. I felt bad for Eichel. That organization has been just an absolute disaster. The worst being the O'Reilly thing. After O'Reilly, I think that was like the straw that it was all downhill from there. When they traded O'Reilly away like that. Well, if they signed Frederik Andersen, I mean, he didn't play at all last year. He didn't play at all last year. Hardly. So you better hope he's okay. I don't know what he's going to get. Maybe they go cheesy and they try to get Anderson for $3.5 million for 1 year. Maybe. But I mean, if I'm a goaltender now, why would I sign in Carolina? Because if I crush it, they're not going to pay me. So why would I bother even signing? I mean, why would I go to Carolina? That's the whole thing, is they're probably not going to be able to get any decent free agent goaltenders in Carolina now. And if I'm going to get drafted, if I'm a young prospect, I'm telling my agent I don't want to go to Carolina. I wouldn't want to go to Carolina if I was going to. I tell my agent I don't want to go to Carolina because they're not going to pay you. And I've loved everything about that team. I like the way a lot of things, but this not paying for goaltender stuff is getting out of hand. Yeah, I'm surprised the Bills do as well as they do. I don't know what happened there in Buffalo, but I do think that Adams is a smart dude. And I really like Granato. So far from what I've seen from Adams, I like the energy he gives off. They were getting some. Murray was the beginning was horrible. Murray was terrible. When Eichel got drafted and Murray looked like somebody just killed his firstborn. Like they lost the lottery. And he looked like somebody just killed his firstborn. I was like, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy that you would act that way. Eichel sees his general manager like pissed that they don't win the lottery and get McDavid. And then you got to draft the guy? Like, you're that mad, seriously, that you're getting a generational player like Eichel? Like, it was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. If I was an owner and I saw my manager do that, he probably would have been done right then. Like, that was terrible. If I'm the Leafs, I'm all over Bernier. If Carolina's stupid enough to drop the ball on that, I'm all over it. If they can't get him signed by free agency time, like, I don't know, Carolina's maybe Bernier said he wanted to test the market, and knowing Carolina, they say go ahead. Well, if he tests the market, I'm pretty sure he's going to get priced out. I could be wrong, though, because I just mentioned that nobody needs a number one. But maybe not. Maybe he'll just accept Carolina's offer because you can't find a number one spot out there. And they got, with Bernier, he's got an opportunity. He could sign a 2-year contract or something like that. And be behind one of the best defenses in the league. And his numbers would probably look spectacular. But he would be 34 years old. But spectacular numbers are spectacular numbers. He could then try to go somewhere else. I imagine he's going to try to find some place to give him a long-term contract, but I just don't know who that'll be. I wouldn't want to go to Arizona if I was him. I mean, if I would imagine he'd want to play on a winning team after playing Detroit for as long as he did. He'd like to get the feeling. The Leafs, like, if I'm the Leafs, I'm all over that. I'm all over Bernier for sure. And even with the Leafs defense being poor, their overall team defense is better than Detroit's, and their overall team is better than Detroit's. I think he could take them far. I think it would be a great move by Toronto. I'm hoping that Carolina's smart enough to put some numbers to him and get him signed up. I really am. I would love Edmonton. Oh, yeah, for sure. Kemper or Bernier to the Edmonton Oilers. But maybe they're stupid enough to take Koskinen off our hands. I hope not, for their sake, because I'm a Carolina fan too. I don't want them doing something stupid like that. They got to get rid of Koskinen first, or in a trade. I think Koskinen to Arizona, plus picks or whatever prospects for Kemper. And I'd be happy with that, although I hope that Kemper can keep it together and not be injured all the time. But between Smith and Kemper, he wouldn't have to play every game either. So they would probably be on almost a 50-50 split, and then whoever's hot going in the playoffs. But, yeah. I'll be blown away Oh, I'll be really upset with Carolina if they let Bernier go. Unless maybe they sign Allmark, who is younger, to a long-term deal. But by the sounds of it, the deal they'd be offering him, he would do better in Buffalo. So they put themselves behind the eight ball quite a bit. I don't know. They could end up getting like nobody there. They're going to sign Mrazek again. Mrazek is not going to win you a cup. Period. I don't care how good you make your team. Mrazek is not going to win you a cup. So Reimer is not going to. Bernier might be able to. That team makeup is good enough that Bernier might be able to. So I hope so. Patrick Laine accepts qualifying offer. $7.5 million. So he's going to sign, Laine is going to sign a 1-year deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, I don't know, did I talk about the Atkinson trade here? I kind of like that deal because it worked for both teams. Voracek is a passer. Yeah, Voracek is a passer. They just need to do is get a center now. I wouldn't doubt that Columbus signs Pius Suter. I don't think that's the ultimate, but he might be able to work in between those two. And then Atkinson was a shooter for Philadelphia. I gave Philadelphia a slight edge because they got $2 million in cap space. So where do you guys think Saad is going to go? That's been my tough one. If he doesn't go back to Colorado, at first I thought Chicago, but Chicago's like completely capped out now after they grab Fleury, assuming he plays. I just have this feeling that Chicago's going to try to convince Fleury to stay there. He's going to say, no, I'd rather retire. And then they're going to retain some money and send him to Pittsburgh and get their picks back. Maybe even better picks than what they gave to... I just have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I just can't see Fleury in Chicago. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I have a feeling that Vegas wouldn't retain any money. So they send him to Chicago. Now Chicago's going to talk to Pittsburgh. Nashville for Saad. That makes sense, I think Saad could go to a lot of places. He could go to New Jersey. He could go to LA. He could go to Boston. What else did I have him going to? I mean, pretty much anybody. I'd love it if he went to Edmonton. But the thing is he had his contract last year was $6 million. He's only 28. And he might have so many teams interested in him that he might get $6 million again in this flat cap world yet. What did I have him going? St. Louis, New York Islanders, maybe? Maybe that's what they were making room for. Somebody like Saad. Calgary would probably try to do it, but I don't know why he would go to Calgary. Where's he from? Where's Saad from? Jay, how you doing, man? Jack Campbell won't win you a cup. Do you disapprove of Lehner becoming the main goalie? So what do you disapprove of? The trading of Fleury to begin with? I don't, it doesn't look good. I understand why they did it, but I have a feeling he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. I have a feeling he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to try to convince him to stay in Chicago, maybe. I don't know why they would want him in Chicago. I have no idea. I don't think they're ready for a cup. They honestly think they're ready for a cup. But then, like I said, I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs last year, and they came really close. But I get a feeling that, see, Vegas could not afford to retain any money. Chicago really can't either, but they can more afford it, and they can retain $2 million for this year, send them to Pittsburgh, and or maybe trade them and try Jari out for a while, and get some some picks out of it or something. Pittsburgh doesn't really have any picks, but I could see that happening. Hallmark's a big, big boy. What was I looking at? Brendan Sod. He's from Pennsylvania. Well, that's why they keep on saying that he could be going to Pittsburgh. That would make sense. He finally gets to go home. The problem, of course, is Pittsburgh has like zero cap space at all, right? Yeah, no, how much do they have for cap space? $7 million in cap space. And they don't have too many guys signed on their roster. 1, 2. They only have 9 forwards signed on their roster and $7 million cap space. So if he wants to take a hometown discount, I guess he could go to Pittsburgh. Yeah, so the Panthers now don't really have all that much cap space either. Jonas Enroth. Yeah, that was a good one. There's a blast from the past there. Run. Jonas Enroth. Let's see Brendan Saw to the Panthers there. At this point, I don't think they need him. They would have to trade somebody out. Yeah, I don't see the Panthers working there, but they got like Duclair, Reinhart, Huberdeau, Vetrano, Hornqvist, Owen Tippett. They got to find a spot for him. I have a feeling Owen Tippett will take out Anthony Duclair's spot. I just can't see him being down there in the bottom for much longer on the top 7 there. Rangers for Sod, but then why did they just trade Buchnevich? Because Sod's going to make about as much as Buchnevich. So I don't think the Rangers either. What is he, a righty or a lefty? Is he a left winger? We have to check that out. Colorado. Well, you can play right or left, so that's big. Maybe St. Louis Blues. Los Angeles Kings, I heard, were in on Schwartz. And they lost out on Schwartz. I think Brandon Saad to LA makes a lot of sense to me. If he wanted to go close to home, New Jersey, But and he's only 28 years old. That New Jersey team's going to be pretty solid pretty quick. And he is a shooter. New Jersey makes sense to me. Except they could play him on the right side with McLeod and Wood. That would make New Jersey's roster, although young, is not far away from being pretty stacked. Kaukonen, Hughes, Sharangovich, Zaka, Hischer, Bratt, Wood, McLeod, and Saad instead of Andreas Johnson. That makes some sense, I would say. They could use a vet too, yeah. So there's, I think he could be getting close to $5 or $6 million a year, and I think it's very possible that if that's what they're getting, I don't think Colorado signs him, because I do think they get something done with Landeskog. I think Landeskog wants 7.5 to 8 because, and it's probably fair for him to ask that. He's a point a game player and one of the better two-way wingers in the league. So I don't think Saad will fit in there. But I liked it to Boston too. But Boston's Joe Thornton to the Boston Bruins. Finished his career back in Boston. I don't know. Is he even going to play again? Like, he hasn't. I guess he hasn't said he's retired yet. But really, he did not do well last year at all. Oh, I forgot to. I got to get the doggies going here. What does Boston have for cap room? Not very much, right? Projected cap space 17 million. But that's after they sign Hall or no? Yeah, after they sign Hall. Krejci, I wonder if Krejci will take 5 or 6 for a couple of years. That'll be 11 million. But then they got to be careful because they got to sign McAvoy next year. Man, they could really use Saad though. Holy, especially if they got rid of DeBrusque. They could make it work, and Saad could play beside. You could put Craig Smith down with Lazar. Oh boy. They need it. Oh yeah, that's right. So Charlie Coyle. It'd be hard to find a spot for him actually. Might not be a good move for Saad. You have to play too far down the lineup. Well, I thought he was going to get about 7.5 to 8 million, but apparently New Jersey offered 9. So Hamilton, that is. All right, we're going to talk more. I'm going to ask you more where you think people will go for free agency. But I'm going to go to the doggies here. I got to take a little bit of break myself anyways, and I will see you in a couple minutes here in the finest free agent, night before free agency show in the land. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it doesn't look like you guys should know that commercial off by heart by now. I didn't even have it on though, did I? I didn't have the volume on. Yeah. Uh, I don't think so, Lauren. I don't know. Maybe it's his attitude that I'm worried about. Uh, it's not on the ice, but usually guys with attitudes like that, eventually it affects them on the ice as well. So you could be right, I guess. You could be right. I'm going to look up cap friendly. Actually, I can do it up here. So I'm going to get on cap friendly here. I'm going to see if we can see who we're going to pick some players and see where they're going to go. I did a video on it already, and there was a couple of them I was like, I don't know where the heck they're going. And I probably won't be right about most of them anyway, so it don't matter. But, oh yeah, how about this? Here's a good one to throw at you. Alexander Edler. I could see Bozak going back to the Leafs. I don't know if it would be the wisest move. I guess it'd be all right. All of this depends on what options they have. If I was them, I'd be going after Benino. But K-Swiss, how you doing, buddy? Where does Edler go? I had a difficult time figuring out where Edler could go. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to stay in the West. He's stayed in Vancouver his whole career. He really didn't do well last year. I mean, at this point, he's a soft defensive defenseman. I have a feeling he might just retire. I don't know if there's going to be too many people that are going to be interested in Edler at his age now. Bozak's okay. He's just soft. That's the thing. Toronto does not need more soft players in their roster. He's just a very soft player. So that would be the problem. But I mean, if you can't find anybody else, I suppose, give him a call and see what you do. So I'm going to look at Edler and Bozak. Edler and Bozak. Bozak might resign in St. Louis, actually. Again, there's another one for the Calgary Flames. Just feels like something that they would do. Bozak. The Columbus Blue Jackets are hard up for centers. Vegas said that they were looking for a middle six, but I don't even know if you can consider him a middle six. Where is he from? Always look at where they're from. That might help out on where they might go. St. Louis Blues. Bozak. I do believe he's from Saskatchewan. Oh, that's it right there. He's going to Edmonton. 35 years old. Yep. He's going to Edmonton. We have another soft third line center in Edmonton, probably. That would be my guess. I wouldn't like that, but he's a vanilla player. Like, he's not too good, he's not too bad, he's just okay. He's an okay player, Tyler Bozak. He's 35, he's not going to get any faster, and he's not going to get any better. He's just going to be a guy that's, he could start declining to the point where he's a fourth liner for all I know. So pretty tough to pretty tough to say there. I mean, he's a risk, is what I'm trying to say. He's a bit of a risk. I wouldn't want to pay him more than $1 million, $1.5 million. I would give him a shot, sure, but I mean, he fell off so much. What did he have for points last year in St. Louis? I don't think he had much for points last year. He had 17 points in 31 games. It's not bad. His best year was he had 55 points in 2016-17. He's a long ways from that. Yeah, I wouldn't sign him to much more than $1.5 million. But he has he had 10 penalty minutes last year. He's a very soft player. He's just not my favorite, obviously, right? You can tell that he's not my favorite player. $900K, yeah, sure. 13th forward, plays when there's injuries. I don't even think that he even plays wing very often either. Like, he's purely a center. No, he can play wing. He does play wing. Edler, I think Edler's going to retire. That's my guess. That's my guess. I'm going to go with that. Who else were some guys I didn't really know they were going to go? Nick Foligno's going to Minnesota. Goligoski could go just about anywhere. I think he goes to Toronto. He's from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. He could go to Minnesota because Minnesota does need a defenseman. Like, he could replace Suter. He's not going to replace Suter, but he could take the place of Suter, I suppose. Where else would Goligoski go? Palmieri, I think, stays with the Island. D'Angelo, Montreal or Carolina. The guy I want for Edmonton is Bonino. He's only 33, 26. That's the guy I want. 6'1". I just don't know. He's from Hartford, Connecticut. I mean, I'm sure he would like to go to Boston, but I don't think they got a place for him. Philly could use him. Either that or Philly. Philly would be good. We need a third line center, right, CL, if you're still there. I'm sure he's going to want to go somewhere where he can win another cup. Once you get the taste of one, you never want to stop. Los Angeles, I hear, is considering Danault. The logic being that Kopitar's had to do so much heavy lifting, it would give him an opportunity to play offense again. It's just, what do you do with those two kids, especially if you sign them for long dance? Elliot, welcome to the Pearl Live, buddy. Woo! Perlo dance for Elliot. How you doing, buddy? Well, Lehner did have some depression issues or something. Is that a true thing? I don't think so. I heard he did make a mistake, but it's not as he says. It's not as he's not. There was nothing racist or anything like that. So Tyler Bertuzzi to the Los Angeles Kings. That makes sense. I like Tyler Bertuzzi to Toronto. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me, but I don't know what the heck they're going to give back. They have no draft picks. They have. Oh, okay. You have to excuse me. Nothing would surprise me now in the world about that. I don't even pay attention to baseball at all, Elliot. I had a baseball guy, he's gone now, so I hope you get it. All I'm doing is tennis right now and MMA, which I have to 2 videos I got to watch from Capper Comparison to see what he's doing. He's freaking awesome. Do you watch Capper Comparison, Elliot? You should check him out. Let's look at another one. If Krejci doesn't, he's got to sign in Boston. He's got to. I just can't see him not signing in Boston. Where is Tatar going to go? Where do you think Tatar goes? I think probably Arizona. I am not a Tatar fan, so I've heard that the Oilers, but I think they're going to blow their wad on Hyman. I'd rather have Hyman for $5 million for 8 than Tatar for whatever he would get. So, where do you think Tatar would go? Yeah, Capper Comparison. If you like MMA, to Whitechapel, Toronto. Actually, that could be too. I think that would be a terrible move by them if they got Tatar, though. Yeah. Didn't the Preds already have him, though, and they traded him to Vegas? They actually got a huge return for him, and then Vegas didn't even... Or was that Detroit? Did he go from Detroit? Let me see. You love MMA? If you love MMA, you'll love Capper Comparison Picks. You will love it. Tell him I sent you too. He does a live show, or even put it in the comment section. Tell him that Perlo sent you. I don't think they want him back. Nobody that's ever had Tatar wants him back. Vegas took him. He never played in the playoffs. Montreal gives him a contract. They never play him in the playoffs. Yeah, Nicholas John, I was kind of surprised by that. I thought they'd have more years left in him, but I just don't think he wanted to move his family one more time, and that was it. So probably back to Sweden with him. Sweet. Yeah, he's a good guy. Ryan Murray is another one. I don't know where the heck Ryan Murray will go. I know he won't get $4.6 million. He did have his first year of not being injured last year, and he's pretty much a defensive defenseman now, and he's only 27 years old. So somebody's going to sign him. Again, that could be an Arizona signing. Detroit, maybe. I could see Detroit signing out because Detroit this year still does not have... Leddy is a left defenseman. They've got Leddy, DeKaiser, and Mark Stahl as their top 3 defensemen. Like, they have nobody that can come up and play from all the draft picks that they have. They have no right defenseman that can play. Moritz Seider, they're very patient, I know, but Moritz Seider should be ready soon. 5 assists in 10 games last year. 28 points in the Swedish Elite League. Not bad. He should be ready soon. It doesn't look like they have too many guys that are ready to play, though. And they don't really need a left defenseman because it's going to be Leddy, Stoll, and DeKaiser. That's ugly. That is really ugly. Hronek, Stetcher, and Lidstrom. Like, that team's going to be horrible again. Nedeljkovic is just going to get so lit up next year. Nedeljkovic is going to get so lit up. Oh, yeah, they could. The Leafs could. They could sign him to $1 million, $1.5 million or something like that. You can't. They're not going to win the cup. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not even sure Fleury's going to go there if that's why you're doing it. I think they're going to flip him to Pittsburgh for a better pick, and they're going to retain some money for him to go there. I don't get the deal at all. I just don't get that deal. I don't get it. Probably not. I don't even know if Darren Helm will even play a game. There's another one. They can throw the league minimum at Darren Helm, I guess. He's no good anymore. Tartar. Hardy har har. That name makes me hungry. I think everything makes you hungry though, right? Yeah, good idea. I wouldn't touch it. At least find out if Fleury's going to be there. Fleury can, bring just about anybody to a cup final, I guess. But if he's going to be there, it's not a bad little, I wouldn't put too much on it, but it's not a bad little fun play. How about that 17-year-old for what? One what gold for what? I don't know. I don't follow Olympics all that much, so. So Boston did sign, re-signed Riley. So they got Grzelcyk, McAvoy, Riley, Carlo. They still got Zaboro, Clifton. It's okay. It's okay. Then they got Hall, Coyle. It's going to be. Yeah. I don't think Boston's a real contender next year, even with all those signings. Apparently, they're not going to play Swayman next year. They're going to put him in the minors. That's what they're saying. I find that kind of hard to believe. He'll probably be brought up somewhere along the line. Oh, swimming. Okay. We had a Canadian girl win, too, I think, in swimming. We had a Canadian girl win in swimming, too, I think. I think they'll be worse, but it's hard to say because the coaching style that they have, how well Saros is. They're going to be one of those teams that just don't allow many goals. They win a lot of 3-2 games, 2-1 games. But losing Ellis is pretty hardcore. That's pretty tough to rebound from, losing a guy like Ellis. So we'll see what they do for the rest of the summer too. I mean, they should, in logically speaking, not be as good. Askarov had to, I think he had a 2-year deal. So next year he'll be able to come over. And then they'll have Askarov and Saros to fight it over for the number 1 spot. It's just the whole makeup of the rest of the roster is weird and not good. Like getting Glass, okay. I mean, it's just a mishmash of players all bundled in together. Like they don't have any one thing to say. Like they don't have a great goal scorer. It was Forsberg, they don't have a great center. They got a Norris Trophy winner defenseman in Josie, what's looking to be a great goaltender, and then a whole bunch of meh players that just happen to get it done. So could they do that again next year? I guess, yeah. But, I mean, are they going to be a contender? Not even close. Not even close. And until, as long as they have those Johansson and Duchesne contracts, they probably never will be a contender either. So, yeah. Tough one. I suppose, I mean, they should be worse next year. They don't have Ellis. Myers can't do a lot of the things that Ellis can do. But then Ellis can't do a few things that Myers can do. I guess the one good thing about Nashville is their defense player development is so good. They may turn Myers into an absolute beast, but until I see it, I got to say that they're not as good. And it doesn't look like they're doing much to improve their team either, which is probably wise right about now. They got to really look at pretty much getting as many draft picks as possible, I would say. Weird, awkward situation for the Nashville Predators. Let me look up the Nashville Predators lineup here. They do got a ton of cap room. They got $27 million in cap space, and they haven't did a thing yet. They've got, I think they got a crap load of Johansson till 2025 for $8 million, and he's not a number 1 center. That's tough. Duchesne till 2026 for $8 million. And he's not a number 1 center. That's their biggest problem right there. Eli Toivonen will be better next year. Cunnin. Where do they have Glass here? Cody Glass is there now in the 3rd line center spot. They'll probably play Duchesne on the wing, and it'll be Toivonen at first to see how he does. Glass and Duchesne. And Glass has not been able to do much so far. And then Tanner Jeannot was looking really good last year. I mean, not bad. But not much, like, their defense looks all right. Alexander Carrier really played well last year, surprisingly. So you have Josie, Carrier, Ekholm, and then Myers is an interesting player. He's a big boy, probably a late bloomer. A couple of years, he could be a darn good number 1 in your 1-2 spot if they bring him up properly. But for next year, he's in the 4 spot. And then they got to find somebody other than Boriecki to play that left defense with Fabro. But it's not horrible. They could re-sign Granlund, I guess. But, man, it's just a nondescript lineup. Like, There's nothing really in here that says, we're making the playoffs. We're making the playoffs. For sure. You just won a Memorial Cup on your beef rope. I don't think anybody's going to take Tyler Myers. That's a terrible contract. Bobby Ryan, he wants to play. He may just stay in Detroit. I don't know. He couldn't make it last year. His body didn't hold up last year. So he would take a league minimum to go somewhere. But, I mean, honestly, he could go just about anywhere if he's going to play for $1 million. He could go home to the New Jersey area. Maybe somebody might give him a shot. Philly. I don't see where they have a spot for him now, though, after all the moves they made. Pittsburgh Penguins have been talked about. Like, probably one of those teams there around his home. If he's willing to, not worry about the money too much. That's what I would say. Boston Bruins, yeah. If they get rid of DeBrusk, we'll see what they do there. You got to figure DeBrusk is going to go somewhere along because, I mean, they do not like DeBrusk. And they loved him when they drafted him. They absolutely loved him when they drafted him. And now they can't stand him, apparently. Like, they don't like him at all, at all, at all, at all. They fell out of favor of him. That draft looks terrible for them. Yeah, you take him for depth if you're going to get him for league minimum. I don't know what people are going to see in him now. He's just lost his step. He doesn't look like he's going to be a player, really. But I'm rooting for him. I'm certainly rooting for him. Come back and slam in shape. Hit the training room like crazy all summer. Who knows? Maybe Nashville will sign him. Maybe, like, what does he want? Does he want to have a chance at a cup, or does he want to just play? He could go to sunny Arizona. Like, all of those guys could go to Arizona if they wanted to. But I think it'll be between Pittsburgh, Philly, and New Jersey myself. There's another one for the Toronto Maple Leafs to sign for $1 million if he wanted to go that way, but I don't see him. Well, he went to Canada already. He did live in Ottawa, right? You never know, I guess. The Leafs fans want everybody fired. I don't. Virtanen, I don't know. He's got sexual assault cases going out against him. They're going to have a good talk. Somebody's going to have a good talk with them to get a really good feeling that things are going to be okay with Jake. They gave him every chance in Vancouver, and he just totally demolished it all. He demolished it. He had every opportunity. I wouldn't even doubt if he's forced, but if the league in a way, like all the general managers kind of punish him, and he goes to the Europe for a while or something like that, just to see if he can get his head straight. I don't know. I don't know what the whole situation with him, so it's hard to judge, but it doesn't sound very good, that's for sure. He needs to grow up. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, bud. That's a good way of putting it, and he needs to grow up. He could resign in Florida. They don't have all that much room, but it makes sense. I'm sure he'll go around and see who's okay. That's another one for Arizona that I think they need defensemen really bad. He could probably sign a long-term contract. He's bounced around quite a bit. Anaheim, Buffalo, now Florida. It would give him an opportunity to get a long-term contract to go to Arizona. You're not going to win much, and unfortunately, if you go to Arizona, you'll get the long-term contract, and then at the deadline, you'll probably get traded, but maybe you'll finally get traded to a team that'll keep you for a while. So, but you'll have a long-term contract in your back pocket. If you're going to move around, you might as well go move around with a long-term contract in your pocket. Jake Virtanen, the Arizona Coyotes, maybe, yeah. Like I said, I don't even know if Arizona wanted to take a chance on that with his until they know more about what's going on with this assault stuff. Like he's got bigger fish to fry than hockey right now. I think. I think Virtanen has more to worry about than hockey at this moment in his life. I think he needs to get himself straightened out. And I don't think there's going to be a team right now that are going to want to sign him up that until he's straightened up a little bit, whatever it is that is his issue. And I hope he does straighten up because, he's got a lot of talent. Tons of talent. The guy was looking like he could be a solid power forward in the league. And like I said, Vancouver gave him chance after chance after chance after chance, and he just kept on dropping the ball. After a while, you just got to cut line, and that's what they did. So for Tannen, I don't see him getting signed by really anybody. I could see after everything gets settled out, and maybe they get a little more information, and he starts to come out and say, how sorry he is or whatever the case may be. Like, I mean, he could end up in jail for all we know. We don't know. So there's more important stuff in Virtanen's life right now than hockey, I think, and I just don't think anybody's going to sign him. Let's go by team. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay still got to cut loose some stuff there. Killorn or Palat will almost certainly be going somewhere for nothing in return. That's where I think LA gets their winger from. I do believe LA's got a healthy amount of prospects. No, it's not really. They can afford to give a second up. a second and a player for Killorn. They might even be able to get away with just giving up a second for Killorn. Because how many years does Killorn have left? 2 years at $4.5 million. I think they would have to give up a second round pick and a prospect, but they got tons of that. I can see that happening over the summer. Yeah, a trade everywhere. Yeah, they're not going to have anybody left there in Carolina or in Arizona. It's just an absolute mess. I think LA gets Killorn or Palat for a pick, but Tampa Bay does things that will always surprise you, so you never know what the heck they're going to do. Haven't heard anything about the Dallas Stars at all. Nothing. They haven't did anything. I suppose the Dallas Stars probably think that, they had so many injuries last year. It really doesn't make sense to change all that much around. Although I think they would want a fourth line center. Tanner Cairo is probably not the guy that you want there. And Joel Hanley on the left D spot after Alexiak left. So you could see some movement. What do they have for cap space? I would think that they were going to try to get a defenseman to replace Alexiak. But they've only got $5 million in cap space. Wow. One defenseman is all they got. And then they have no cap room for the year to go into the year. Might be better off just going with what they got and then seeing what happens, how they do with that. So I don't think you're going to see Dallas do too much for sure. Dallas will probably stay status quo. Anyways, guys, I guess that's my full. Oh, who we got? Somebody else came on now, so I'll stick around. The Pittsburgh Penguins. I thought they were going to get a good. Pittsburgh Penguins still got to get a goaltender. What the heck are they doing? There's a team that might roll the dice on Anderson. Cody Ceci for league minimum. Letang, Marino. Yeah, Ceci. I could see them signing Ceci. Maybe Ceci prices himself out, though, because he had a good year last year, actually. He may end up going somewhere else now that I think about it. He might be priced out. Apparently, Christian Dvorak is on the trade block, which I just don't get at all. He's got a good contract, and he's a #1 center. The only reason why I could see him being on the block is that he himself told them that he wants out before he's too old, and he doesn't get a chance to be on a good team. Like, anybody who's a veteran right now, just imagine Chychrun in Arizona. You got Norris-level caliber defenseman there, and he's stranded, stranded in Arizona. Well, I got my wife is counting down the minutes here, so I guess it's time for me to get going. That's my full 42, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Tomorrow will be a marathon. Also, Off the Wall Hockey, John will be also doing it in congruence with me on his channel. Chikrin not getting traded, that would be like ridiculous. I'm sure he's looking around hoping he gets traded, but no, Jacob Chikrin is not going to get traded. That would be just stupid. If you're going to rebuild, that's exactly the kind of guy you want to rebuild around. Anyways, that's my full 42, guys. Thanks for coming in. I got to head out. This has been awesome. Talk to you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Have a great day. Okay, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 Eastern. Okay, bye.